Hi, I'm Alex Shahrestani, member for the State Bar of Texas's AI Task Force. In this video, we'll explore how AI tools intersect with a lawyer's duty to protect client confidentiality. From generative models to data governance, we'll unpack the critical risks and responsibilities that come with integrating AI into your practice. There are a lot of questions about how lawyers should be thinking about AI, in particular as it relates to data privacy, security, and client confidentiality. And this is a question that I get quite a bit. Pretty much you want it to be the same as all of your other legal tech tools, which I think is the fundamental problem. A lot of attorneys have gotten comfortable with the legal tech tools that they've been taught to use, such as LexisNexis, Westlaw, Google Scholar. It doesn't really matter the particular provider. Each provider has a certain level of access to your client information. That's not necessarily a bad thing. That has to happen for a number of reasons, including giving you technical support as things fall apart. You need something back by the end of the day. If your document editing software goes down, you need someone to recover that for you. That is sort of the reason why there's access to this information. So let's start there. We need to be aware that this is just how the internet works, and AI is not the new kid on the block that is providing these risks. These risks, however, are still important to consider. When you're thinking about an AI tool in particular, always make sure that they are not using your data to train their models. It's typically a toggle that you can find somewhere in your settings. Even on free versions of software, you should have access to that. If you don't see it, assume that they're using your data. Additionally, you're going to want to think about where you are connecting to those softwares. If you go into the main provider of an AI service and you use their tool and you turn off the training of the model, it stops there. However, if you're using some other third-party intermediary tool, there's a good chance that there's two layers at which your data might be scraped up. You just need to be as aware with your AI tools as you are with any of your other tools. Make sure you have a good understanding of where your data is going, whether it's legal case research software or an AI tool. When thinking about protecting client confidentiality, there are a number of differences and similarities between traditional legal tech and AI legal tech. Often when I'm discussing legal tech, I think that you should be approaching the question of whether a tool is useful or safe for your client from that starting point of what is the legal tech itself actually doing, and think of the AI to some extent as an additional layer. You need to be thinking about whether they're using your client's data to improve their services, whether they're going to be providing advertising or marketing. You need to think about whether they're creating some additional tool that you're not aware of yet. You need to check all of these things in the privacy policy. Typically, the privacy policy is going to have a section that says either how we use your data or what we do with your data. There's various little ways that they can signify this is what happens. If they're vague, that might mean that something is happening with the data that you might otherwise not be comfortable with. Feel free to reach out and ask questions about it. When you're using a traditional legal tech tool, such as a billing software, or perhaps, again, the legal research software, the way that the data is being stored is similar to a spreadsheet. When you look at a spreadsheet, you have rows and columns. It has information about a particular identifier, in this case, a client, maybe their address, the nature of their case, all of that information, typically in plain text with some level of security applied. But there is someone on the other side of that who can see that information. Again, not necessarily a bad thing, but you need to be aware that that is what is the capability of any tool that you are using. With AI, it's slightly different. So you're going to have some of those same risks associated because AI on legal tech is still legal tech. It just has AI added to it. So those same risks apply, but then when you get to the AI layer, there's actually surprisingly a slight step off in risk of the data that passes through the AI in certain specific circumstances. While other legal tech stores data in a way that a spreadsheet might look, with AI data, it's actually transformed into a random series of numbers that is not human readable. So if someone was to look at that spreadsheet, they wouldn't see client name, nature of case, any of that information. They would see a series of complex, long-tailed numbers. So there is a little bit of an additional layer of privacy with that AI. That being said, you need to be sure that people are not using your data, and by extension your client's data, to improve their services, or if they are, that they have secure, sound confidentiality obligations on how they use your information. The ethical and legal implications of data privacy are foundational to how we serve our clients. Be sure to review the resources in this section. They offer practical guidance on selecting tools, managing risk, and staying compliant in a rapidly evolving tech landscape. Thanks for watching.